What's up everybody? It's a beautiful day today and I wanted to tell you guys all about my track day experience at RAF Odiham, which was last Sunday. I had such a great time, it was amazing. But the bike needs a little bit of work. It needs a new rear tyre and an oil change because I had no idea just how much tread I was going to go through on track. I mean, in 4 sessions I pretty much made the tyre bald. So I'm going to go and get the bike. It's not here, I keep the bike at my parents' place. So I'm just going to go and have a shower because I've not long been awake and I know I need to clean up. I'm a little bit kind of dirty and just kind of manny. I'm just being like a man at the moment. It's just so go get clean, go jump in the car, drive down my parents' place, pick up the bike, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. I love it. Yeah, the drive to my parents' place really isn't quite so bad. Look at that view, people. That is special right there. So I just arrived at my parents' place, and what a pleasant surprise. My Mechanist t-shirts have arrived. A buddy of mine, Matt, over at Mechanist, sent me these badass t-shirts. Look at that. They're fucking awesome, man. If you want to see more of their stuff, check out the link in the description. Very, very cool stuff. So thanks for that, buddy. Love it. So the bike's still in her track day trim at the moment. There's no mirror. It feels really weird at the moment riding without mirrors. I forgot to put it back on before I took her out. So that's weird. Annoyingly as well, I got a stone chip right here, even though all this shit was taped up. I tried to be really careful. I taped up all these, the mudguard, lights obviously because you have to, the tip of the nose, just the tip. Just the tip. First off, to the dickhead that was giving me shit about having chicken strips whenever it was a couple of weeks ago, go fuck yourself, buddy. No strips on that, it's nicely blistered. I got my knee down on both sides. I'll show you my one piece at some point if I remember to film it. But I did post a picture on Twitter when it happened. I was like, fuck yeah, buddy. Anyway, let's get this video underway, shall we? Let's go. So my experience then at RAF Odiham was amazing. I had such a good time, I can't even begin to explain how good it was. Ridiculously tiring though, and very hard work. Each session I was going through like a mil and a half of tread on the rear tyre. That's insane. That's insane. So I went there on a part-worn rear tyre, and my rear tyres wear through kind of quickly anyway because I pretty much always have Badger on the back, like 90% of the time she's on the back. So my tyres do tend to square off quite quickly. Now that I'm having the rear one replaced, as per Mr. Jambo's recommendation, I think I'm going to go for a Corsa 2, which is a slightly harder compound. So I went over to the mainland Saturday night, arrived at Miss Renner's place about kind of 8:30ish. Early night, we went to bed 9:30, 10. Her cats woke me up at about 3:45. Bastards. They were chasing each other around the sofa, the high-practice little fucktards. For those of you that have never been on track before, and you're thinking about it, but you're a little bit nervous, I have to say, do it. Please do it. Oh my god, do it. It's so good. There were a couple of things that I was nervous about. One, low siding. Holy shit was I nervous of low siding, because one of my goals that I set myself was, one, I want to be stuck to Skip like glue. For those of you that don't know, Skip is a buddy of mine who rides an 899 Panigale. It was also his first time on track. My first goal was to just stick with him, to not let him leave me in his wake, because I know that he's got the power to just leave me for dead in the straights, but in the twisties I'm quite confident. So I was like, right, first goal, stay with Skip. My second goal, knee down. I have to get my goddamn knee down. The first 2 laps you go out with the instructor in front of you for 2 sighting laps, which is where you basically just learn the track. There's a left here, right here, straight here, blah blah blah. And then they take you back to the pit lane. After that, away you go. So we did the 2 sighting laps, all was well. Both the instructor and the guy that runs the club in the briefing before we were allowed out made it totally clear, do not try and lean off your bike until your tyres are warm. It's like, if you do that, you're coming off, like straight away. And he told us some horror stories of people coming off on their sighting laps because they're being all, yeah, look at me, I'm fucking awesome, and sliding out because their tyres are cold. So one of my biggest concerns was, how the hell do I know if my tyres are warm or not? Hello, mate. Like, how the fuck do I know? I've got no way of knowing. So there's this weird, like, grey area where you're like, for how long do I ride around kind of like half-assed, potentially annoying people, before giving it the beans? Because I'm not sure when my tyres are okay to do that. What do I do? So first session, took it relatively easy, made a couple of mistakes. Fair enough, I was like, I'm learning, it's fine. Everyone else is in the same kind of boat as me. There were people going faster than me, there were people going slower than me. There was an 80-year-old man on an old Norton, for Christ's sake, spewing oil all over the track. So my GT-Air has a whole bunch of oil spots on the visor where his bike's just going. So that was one of my fears gone straight away, because I thought to myself before I went, man, I really don't want to be the slowest guy there. I've got no experience, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't want to embarrass myself. And I didn't, because there were people there who were just as nervous as me, people there who were more nervous than me. There's nothing wrong with not being fast. It's not what it's about per se. It's about you riding your bike how you want to. Session 2, a little bit better, starting to get my confidence up a bit, starting to lean off a little more. Session 2 is where Skip and I really started to play with each other a little, if you know what I mean. When we really started to open the bikes up a bit, loosen up. Session 3 is where the magic finally happened. Session 3 is where I got my knee down for the first time on like a long sweeping right hand bend off the straight from the pit lane. And oh, that felt so good, I've got to tell you. So I owe a massive thanks to Lamb Chop Rides and Miss Red Renner for a little bit of guidance with that. Lamb Chop definitely knows his stuff. I was talking to him after session 2, just saying, dude, like, I don't really understand what's going on here, because I'm leaning as much as I feel is possible. And Skip was behind me in the previous session and said to me afterwards, dude, you're like this close, you're like that far away from the ground. And Lamb Chops was just like, yeah, you're trying too hard. Like, you're trying too hard, just let it happen. And I spoke to Renner and she was like, well, try twisting your hips towards the ground. And that was some pretty good advice. That's what finally did it for me. I think, well, a combination, like Lamb Chop said, stop trying too hard. It's like you're trying too hard, and if you lean too far, you're going to come to grief, because you're going to stretch out to try and make it happen, and then you're going to run out of tyres. As soon as I relaxed a little and just concentrated more on the ride rather than just getting my knee down, it just happened. And then for the rest of the day, and all the rest of the sessions, it felt natural as anything. Although I could only do 2 more sessions. I did session 3 and 4. After that I had to call it quits because my rear tyre was so bald. So I had 3 more sessions to go, 3, 4, 5. Which was a shame I missed out on, but I don't regret it. I had an amazing time and I learned a lot about this bike and about myself. I had this running rivalry with a guy on an 1199 Panigale, black one, beautiful bike. And our rivalry was quite amusing, because on the long straight at the beginning of the lap, he would destroy me like I was standing still, like, excuse me, I was doing maybe like 130 odd miles an hour down the straight, like accelerating really, really slowly. And he would just shoot past me like I was parked. But then after that long straight, when you start to get into the twisties, as we came back onto the straight after a lap, I was always in front of him again. And then he would pass me on the straight. And then we had this ongoing to me to you type deal, which was amusing, and it fed my confidence even more, because I was like, I can out-handle this guy. And this bike blew me the fuck away. Like, this bike really blew me away. I fell in love with it all over again, because this bike handles so beautifully. The only thing that let this bike down on track was the top end speed. I taped over my speedo after session 1 because I nearly came to grief hitting somebody up the back, because I looked down at my speedo and saw 130, and then I looked back up again, literally looked down 130, looked up, and I was right up somebody's ass. So I taped over my speedo after that so that I didn't look anymore, because at that kind of speed, you know, a fraction of a second looking down is what, like 50 feet or some shit. I mean, I don't fucking know, I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass, but it was bloody scary, put it that way. So if you're going on track, my advice would be tape over your speedo, tape over the whole front end of your bike to protect against stone chips, or don't, because I fucking got one anyway. And don't try so hard. There's no point trying to impress anybody, because no one gives a fuck. They're all there to ride their own ride. If you try too hard to impress people, you're just going to come to grief, man. Just go there and have fun. That's all there is to it. Huge thanks to all you guys for turning up, for being so friendly, being so patient and so helpful. I just had the best time. I really did. It was so good. I can't wait to do it again. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I've covered everything that I needed to cover, or wanted to cover. Having said that, I will have forgotten something, because I always do that shit. It's really annoying. But in the meantime, I've been Smo. You guys have been awesome.
What is going on, guys? I am Dirty Dan Moto, and I am a moto vlogger from Massachusetts in the United States of America. This is my bike. It is a 01 Honda XR 650R, but it's super motoed, so it's a lot of fun. Always trying to go off-road and all that fun bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So let's see if we can get a good video in.